You are watching WCSD from the Calloway County School District.
Coming up on Laker TV, we'll take a look at the inauguration and one of our very own students who was able to attend. Also, take a look at the upcoming Sadie Hawkins dance here at our very own CCHS and the Godspell play this weekend at Playhouse in the Park. Stay tuned, Lakers. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go save the world.
Welcome back, Lakers. I'm Bria Duncan.
And I'm Josh Bailey. Boy, do we have some good stuff lined up for y'all today.
We sure do, Josh.
I know, right? It's going to be so exciting.
Last Friday, a new era began in American politics as Donald Trump took the oath of office. Josh Bailey and Jillian Hackathorn took the Laker TV cameras to Murray's Country Crossroads restaurant to get a look at the prayer luncheon for the inauguration of the new president.
Several enthusiastic supporters gathered at Murray's Country Crossroads restaurant on Inauguration Day to celebrate and watch President Trump get sworn in.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Like many people watching, one local veteran was glad to see the Obama administration's leaving the office and are excited to see what Trump will accomplish in his term.
I'm a veteran. I spent my entire life fighting for this country and in the United States Navy. And I am so proud to see the direction we're going now. He will surround himself with smart people to make up for the areas that he doesn't have the knowledge, and he will listen to them and make the proper decisions. He has proven that throughout his life.
The luncheon started with a prayer in support of the future of the United States, which was followed by patriotic songs.
He'd seek wisdom from you, first of all. I pray that he'd surround himself with others who would also look to you.
Dr. Winfield Rose gives closing statements on ending presidential terms on a good, peaceful note.
Presidential terms begin and end peacefully according to the law. They are not the result of a revolution or a coup d'etat. We see that today, and that's what I would leave with you at this time.
While a lot of people were watching it on TV, one of our very own sophomore CCHS, Jackson Hale, left Murray to experience the inauguration in Washington, D.C. He was nominated for the Junior National Young Leaders Organization. He went with the Envision Summit, a program made for students around the world to experience the inauguration. Fighting the traffic and struggling with the crowd, Jackson tells about his inaugural trip.
It was mostly getting to meet new people. There were other kids from around the world there. There's one from Venezuela, one from Greece, a couple from Spain, a couple from Canada, one from Mexico, one from Brazil. So, as soon as we got back to the hotel from the inauguration, we turned on the news, and we already found out like 90-something people had been arrested. And then we found out at the end of that day, like 217 had been arrested, I believe. And we already saw a truck started burning up. So, yes, it was the most boring part of my trip, but it is a really good experience to go to. So.
No two trees are the same to the raven, no two branches are the same to the wren. This is a line from the poem Lost by David Wagner, which was one of the many poems recited this past Wednesday in Mr. Smith's English class. Students in Mr. Smith's class recited poems and celebrated Poetry Day. The tradition of celebrating poetry has inspired students to create their own poems and recite them on Poetry Day. Even visiting teachers came and recited poetry, both unoriginal and original works, in front of Mr. Smith's class. The poems range from comical and light to dark and mysterious.
If you leave it, you may come back again, saying, "Here." No two trees are the same to raven, no two branches are the same to wren. If what a tree or a bush does is lost on you, you are surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you.
Wow.
Well, I've got a poem for you. There once was a girl with a cell phone, but in class she wouldn't leave it alone. Anyway, you get the idea. I don't think anyone will disagree with that fact that cell phones are a big impact on our lives, and school administrators across America are struggling to create a workable cell phone policy that keeps order in the classroom. Here is what some of the students and staff thought about our cell phones' effects in classrooms and our lives.
There's a lot of concern over the impact of cell phones on today's society. Here is how one of our staff members believes technology should be handled in the classroom.
I think that it has to be monitored by teachers, and I think that if teachers say, okay, now it's time for us to do X, Y, and Z with our cell phones, and then when we're done, we're going to put them up, I think that's an appropriate use. Even at the collegiate level, I know professors have some policies now where they're not allowing their students to bring even laptops into class because they've noticed that just the internet connectivity has caused them to be very distracted. So having a way for students to focus on a specific task, I think is appropriate. Giving them unfettered access can sometimes be disadvantageous.
She then spoke about how cell phones have affected daily life.
I think everything can be done in the palm of your hand now. Even rarely at home do I even have to get my laptop. I can do everything from my phone. And so I think a lot of that, it can speed things up, but also a lot of times it reduces the human connection that I would have necessarily with someone else. We have to have, little rules at our family table, no screens, and even with our children who are really young, they can sometimes spend too much time on iPads and phones and things.
Here is how one student believes cell phones affect our society.
I think people are starting to rely on cell phones more, to communicate. I'm not saying that people don't face-to-face communicate all the time, because I still do. My parents are always like, you never communicate with other people, and I'm like, yes I do. My phone doesn't stop me from talking to people at school. I talk to people all the time. But other people who are just addicted to their phones probably have troubles communicating with a bunch of people. I mean, other than that, people are just relying on them a lot, and I really don't think that they should. But it's a good resource to have, because I don't know how to change a tire. I gotta look that up on the side of the road. I'm gonna need it wherever I go, because I'm gonna mess up somewhere, and I'm gonna need the internet to save me.
I'm glad that I never lived in a world without cell phones. I don't even know what I would do without mine. It's almost scary how dependent some of us have become on our cell phones.
Coming up after the break, we have some information on e-cigs and the new Godspell play at Playhouse in the Park.
Also, some more insight to the Sadie Hawkins dance here at CCHS.
They say on a clear sky with pale moonlight, you can still hear it.
Here.
Some say he is a man, others a monster.
Mormon? Who do you think you are? Is it obvious?
They call him Captain Obvious. My gosh. So that's what was making all this racket. Captain Obvious. But to me, he's an old partner.
3 counts of kidnapping, battery and assault, and public disturbance. I could lock you away forever. Do you even know who you're dealing with right now?
Cop.
permanently stunt your lungs, taking the air out of even the biggest and baddest.
Calloway County is a school of many traditions, but something we're just starting this year is the Sadie Hawkins Dance. It's going to be on February 11th, and my friend Josh here is going to tell us when you can buy your tickets.
You can buy your tickets on January 30th, and if you need to, see Miss Fritchie for more details.
That's right. The dance is going to be from 7 to 10 o'clock. And sorry, Josh, we know that's an hour and a half past your bedtime. Looks like you're going to have to head out a little early.
Yeah, but you know, at least I'd have the satisfaction of being asked. And did you know that for $3 and a half-eaten hot dog,
I like hot dogs,
you can take Bradley Smith to the Sadie Hawkins dance. Each day, he goes without a lady friend.
I really don't care about the dance. It's just the fact that nobody's asking me.
Please, somebody, your donation could make a change in Bradley's love life.
Probably not.
Please.
Any amount will help.
Any amount.
I like hot dogs.
Poor Bradley. Here, I'll give you his number just in case anybody wants to ask him. It's 270.
No. Ain't nobody want that.
Yeah, you're right. Well, we'll be sure to tune in next week for some more information on the Sadie Hawkins dance.
When you think of e-cigarettes, you may think of vapes and cool tricks with water clouds. However, producer Adam Otis brings us a story about the harsh reality of e-cigs and vape.
Vapes. When you vape, it's like smoking a regular cigarette, or is it? Ever since e-cigarettes came into the modern world, doctors recommended vapes for trying to stop nicotine addiction, but others found another way to use it. Recent studies by the Earth Street Journal state that 9.8% of high school students vape.
Well, vaping and e-cigarettes has really become more prevalent lately, especially since 2015, which is basically 2 years ago, maybe even less. There are 3 million kids in the United States, middle school and high school, that use e-cigarettes.
People choose to vape for reasons such as peer pressure, trying to stop nicotine addiction, stress, and many others.
It's acetone, which is a respiratory toxicant for anybody. Ammonia, arsenic, we all know what that is. Carbon monoxide, formaldehyde, cyanide, lead, carcinogen, mercury. We all know what mercury, we've had scares on mercury. It's a carcinogen.
To reduce the symptoms of vaping, get advice from a former vape smoker, talk to a counselor or your personal doctor, or seek medical attention if needed.
Throughout history, Jesus has brought controversy to all. Some followed him with open arms, while others rejected him, claiming him to be a false prophet and later condemning him to his death. In the 1970s, Broadway wanted to bring to light this story in a contemporary manner, showing people this story in a whole new light. The play was called Godspell, and Playhouse in the Park has decided to take on the challenge of this show and convey the story of Christ in a whole new light. Some of our very own classmates are participating in this show, and we decided to talk to them about this interesting and controversial story. Reporter Jake Hunter has the story.
He cared not for the people who tended his crops, though they worked long hours and were paid a fraction.
When you think of theater, you probably think of bright lights, obviously scripted, and sometimes bland shows. That's not the case with Playhouse in the Park's Godspell. Godspell takes the Gospel of Matthew that we know and changes it to modern times, adding catchy songs and good times.
Where there grew up and withered for lack of moisture.
Two Calloway students, Serenity Dunn and Katie Duggar, are involved with this show. Katie tells us how in this show there are no set characters, which is very unique to this show.
Additionally, in Godspell, each character is based off a personality rather than a character, and the character goes by their actor's name. For instance, I play a character based off a guy named Nick Blameyer, who in the description is playful, funny, likes to play jokes, and he plays a lot of instruments. Unfortunately, I don't get to do that, but I do get to have a lot of fun, and basically I'm just an exaggerated version of myself, and I think everyone can say that they're just an exaggerated, more fun, childish version of themselves.
Also, Serenity Dunn tells us how Godspell differs from just a regular Sunday school lesson of the Bible.
And we play it like a Sunday school version, as if you're performing in church, and it's a fun, vibrant version. It's not just a boring kind of sit down and listen.
Even if you're not a church regular, Katie tells us that no matter who you are, you'll get a message from this show.
I think so. I think Godspell has a message for everybody. I think it'll give you something to look forward to, whether you're a religious person, you can enjoy the parables. If you like music, there's lots of music, different genres. We got vaudeville, pop, rock, some acoustic stuff. It's got a little something for everybody. I think anyone who went to go see it would enjoy it.
From upbeat songs to life lessons, Godspell has a little something for everyone, even you. Godspell opens this weekend, Thursday through Sunday, but make sure you order your tickets now. They sell out fast. You can order them at www.playhousemurray.org. For Laker TV, this has been Jake Hunter.
Interesting to see someone take this story and try to show it in a contemporary manner. The show opened January 26th and plays for the rest of the weekend and the next. Check www.playhousemurray.org for more information on how to get tickets.
Well, that's all we have for this week. Thanks for joining us, Lakers.
And as always, go
Lakers.
Lakers.